perspective in FD, foreign direct investment, and so he is actually applying that to different contexts, and he has got a number of publications to his credit and highly globally acclaimed for his enormous contribution. His biodata is very long, and he is also an honorary professor at the New Delhi Institute of Management, associated with the London School of Economics, associated with the UN World Food Program, Innovative Accelerator, and so much is there. I'm not going to deal with that. Sir, we are extremely happy that you are here with us, and on behalf of the entire GIFT community, I would like to welcome you to this meeting.
Namaskar. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Namaskar. That's very wonderful. That's great. And Professor Gopalakrishna Iyer is actually a friend of mine in that sense. In fact, we got connected through a network of our Additional Chief Secretary and member of our governing board, Sri Jyodilal, K.R. Jyodilal IAS. And he has a big network, almost 1,000 people in that. And in fact, we are all members of that group that deals with the next generation of energy, this hydrogen economy. And in fact, these all of them, in fact, deal with that issue. In fact, Professor Gopalakrishna Iyer is the president of Renewable Energy Promotion Association, REPA, and he has got a number of publications. And he is also, as I said, professor and dean of the New Delhi Institute of Management. And his best-selling books, India Brandist, Nepal Brandist, and Bhutan, right? So, and he's also the biographer of the late Prime Minister of India, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, titled Atal Shastra. So, another management group. And we have, I must also tell you that our institute is also very different in the sense that, since you are coming for the first time, I would like to introduce our institute as the breeding ground, the only institute in the country destined, or rather engaged in developing the next generation of public finance scholars in the country. And public finance scholarship is the one with huge deficits. In fact, in the institute where I have been earlier working, we have been trying to appoint a professor for many years. We could not get. Finally, we got one, and he was appointed as associate professor. Within an year, he was promoted as professor and taken back to the same place where he came from. Last week, I was in the governing board meeting of Madras School of Economics. Dr. Rangarajan, former RBI governor, former Andhra Pradesh governor, he was telling that last 3 years, I have been searching to get a public finance expert. And in fact, I'm very fine that all our scholars are concerned about only public finance. Some of them work about public revenue. And we have got 9 pillars in the institute in terms of research and teaching. We have got public revenue. Our target is to say that our tax GDP ratio is now 7% apparently lower than the potential. And we would like to tell the country how to reach at least 5% within another 3 to 4 years. Public expenditure, debt and deficit, center-state financial relations, local finance, corporate finance, financing development, international finance, and legal foundation. So we have got economics faculty, commerce faculty, and law faculty. And this interdisciplinary faculty, we are trying to address this problem. And I'm very confident that the kind of insight that you are going to bring on the issue of public revenue, and particularly your pivotal perspective in that, is going to add significantly to the state of Kerala. And I must say that Sri Gopalakrishnan, I also welcome you very warmly into this. And I'm very happy that you joined here, and Mr. Alex Maliakli is also here. So I welcome all those who are coming first time, especially to, yes, a special welcome to all those who are coming first time to this institute. And my colleagues, let us give them a big hand. Okay, now I would think I will request Professor Oppersnick to make this presentation. Can you please connect it? Is it not connected?
This laptop will be.
Connected.
To the HDMI. That was my first visit.
This is, oh, wonderful.
The sick.
This is,
No, it's just HDMI. It's normal HDMI.
oh, this has to go to Zoom.
Plug it in.
Okay, how do you do? Zoom loading? You have to do,
You have to give him in his mobile.
so you, what I meant to say,
No, you just plug in the.
Wi-Fi?
Directly.
Oh, here's a connector, here's a connector, here's a connector.
It has a complex video. So you cannot-
Connect.
More one gigabyte, so. Should I sit here? Otherwise.
I think,
people don't hear
you-
me.
Or you can come to my side.
Yeah,
I go
I don't
to
know,
side.
people don't hear me then, right?
That makes sense.
But I have a strong voice.
Yeah.
You're not seeing
But
the
you
picture?
can sit there. No problem.
Can we share the picture? Can we share the picture with the attending people?
it will be lit.
Ah. Need to press?
Yeah, this is, it's on, it's on.
It's on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be in your beautiful and lovely country again. And you've seen that this is coming from my first visit to India, which was in 2020 with my guru, Professor Philip Kotler, all-time marketing guru, where we visited India Gate, also temple, where some Sikh people were giving me the Sikh turban, and also learned to do naan bread. So I'm really half Indian person now. You've been so kind as to already introduce myself to you, so there's no further need to do that. You can see that I'm a visiting professor to Cambridge University. I'm originally at the University of Lübeck in the northern part of Germany, but I'm also visiting professor to London Business School, London School of Economics, Cambridge, Oxford, and the MIT at the Harvard University. I've been working for 10 years of my career for Shell International Petroleum Company Limited, the last 3 years in London in global strategy and portfolio. And then I moved to the university. And because it was coming from the London to Germany, it was not so diverse anymore. So I missed the diversity. So I wrote to the two most distinguished professors on the planet in my category, which have been Michael Porter in strategy and Philip Kotler in marketing. With Porter, it didn't turn out fine. He was not so approachable, let's put it this way, in a diplomatic way. And I ended up working with Philip Kotler, and ever since I got the privilege to publish several publications together with him. These are some of the companies we work for. The most successful book on the planet is Marketing Introduction. I've been co-authoring. I'm the only non-American professor to co-author the global edition of Marketing Introduction, which is the most widely used textbook on the planet at all universities for introductory marketing courses. This is what, so you all know him probably. Professor Kotler considers him to be the guru of the gurus, of every kind of guru, whether it's a finance mastermind or, I don't know, a strategy mastermind. This is the guy, American, Austrian-born management guru, Peter Drucker. And Drucker invented modern contemporary management, you can say so. And two things I always quote in my big keynotes when I'm with Kotler. One thing is, what is the difference between management and leadership? That's one thing, right? Management is doing the right things. And I'm sorry, leadership is doing the right things. Management is doing things in the right way. One thing is about effectiveness, the other one is about efficiency. That is one thing. So we need leadership, of course, to do the right things and to choose or to tell us and to show us, inspire us what is right to do. In particular, in a world which is continuously and more unstable and unpredictable. And this is also what I like. I can also phrase it quoting Wayne Gretzky, a very famous NHL player in America. He's an all-star player. And he was once asked, Mr. Gretzky, what differentiates a legendary player, right? A GOAT, greatest of all time player, from a great player. And he said, a great player is skating to where the puck is. A GOAT player, a legend, is skating to where the puck is going to be. So I love that, and Drucker coined it like that. The best way to foresee the future, to predict the future, is not to anticipate it and to create it, right? To shape it, not to react like a ship on the waves of change, but really to think ahead, and that is absolutely paramount. This is an old acronym we used to use in management, but it shows nicely what is needed. This has been coined by US military at West Point. We are living in a VUCA world. This is coming from the times of the Cold War. And this acronym, you can see it stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So volatility is calling for a strong vision. We need to have a clear vision where we need to go. Shall I sit down? What?
Maybe call the mic.
Right. Uncertainty means that everything is more unstable, uncertain than ever before. We all know that, and we have this kind of an experience. So we need a sophisticated, comprehensive understanding of the world around us, not of single aspects, but holistic. But if the world is becoming more complex than ever before, it is more difficult than ever before. There was always change, but the speed of change, we can see just looking at the development of AI, it's unprecedented in the history of this planet. And ambiguity, so ambivalence of things, is calling for agility. So we have to be very, very agile. What used to work in the past is no longer working today, right? And tomorrow. So we need to be constantly learning and developing. So this is a little bit of a run through the development of marketing management. So it started in the 60s. Basically where McCarthy and Professor Dr. Philip Kotler were inventing marketing as a kind of a science. There was no science about marketing, and they set up the toolbox for marketing, which is comprised of the famous 4 Ps: product, price, place, and promotion. And mainly McCarthy is credited for that, not Philip Kotler. And several years later, some scientists found out and thought that companies and organizations, whether it's profit or non-profit, whether it's government or political party or somebody, should not focus on their competencies, on their products, on their portfolio, whatever they have. It's a little bit down, so I'm better in the video. But they should more focus on their stakeholders, on the person they shall address to. So this led to the 4C model, where you're not putting in product first, but the stakeholder, right? The customer. So they called it customer value, convenience, cost, and communication. So they needed other C's for that. But you see, looking at the colors, simply, it is a kind of a similar model. Then another 13 years later, Harvard professors came along, and I like that at what Atkinson et al. Did. And they coined an acronym, which is SAFE. So the logic was that we are not selling products through marketing and advertising, public relations, whatever that is, whether it's ETF or a foreign direct investment strategy, a public relations company, whatever. But we are looking at the problems that people have and then provide innovative solutions to tackle them, to address them. This is coming also from the service dominant logic approach in modern contemporary management. So they starting with solutions, not products, right? Before you have a product. I'm always saying that there's a main difference between a sales and a marketing approach. In a sales approach, you're trying to sell the products which you're producing. Whether it's a campaign for a political party, right? Or a toaster, a microphone, a computer, or an MBA online program. Doesn't make any difference. But you try to sell it somehow through communication, through pricing, value proposition, etc. But this is not marketing. Marketing is to look at challenges that do certain consumer segments or stakeholders have, and then create innovative solutions. So I like this kind of a model, which is called the SAVE model. However, in today's world, this is no longer applicable. And this is only touching base on the operational aspects of marketing. We call it marketing toolbox, right? This is all operations, product, price, place, promotion, right? SAVE model. But there is no comprehensive strategy and framework behind. And it is lacking at least one key element, which is sense-making purpose. In today's world, generations are no longer looking for companies that are having cool brands and love brands, such as Nike, but they also want to know whether corporations such as Nike do care. And I'm saying here again, it cannot be correct to exploit people in developing countries, right, polluting the rivers, to make inexpensive sneakers for $5, which are sold for $200 in New York. This cannot be correct. This cannot be the right way. If a company is only focusing on maximizing shareholder value, return on average capital employed, NIAT, we call it at Shell, net income after tax, whatever, however you phrase that, and that used to be the bottom line. But Elkington, who was a sociology guy, he coined this triple bottom line approach. He said, we don't have, in particular also in finance now, sustainable finance, green finance, right? Just this week it was announced that the Norwegian government fund is selling 1% share for $790 million of BP, because they want to invest more in sustainable energy, in green energy, right? Not saying that BP is a bad company, but people want to know from a stakeholder management perspective, right? What is your purpose? Why is your company or organization existing beyond winning elections, beyond making money? And we need to care for not only for the people we employ, but also for the broad public. We also need to care, also as Indian people or German people or UK citizens, we need to care for the workers on the Philippines or in Indonesia producing these. There are people, I don't want to talk too much about that, but I'm working for the United Nations World Food Program. And I get tears in my eyes that when I see that people working for example, in jeans factories, they have an average life expectancy of about 44 years because the particles of the color, right, which is used to color the jeans or to stonewash the jeans, they're entering the lungs and the people die in order to enable Western or global consumers to buy inexpensive jeans. But it's even the top brands that do produce in less developed economies, just to maximize profitability. Like Shein is doing, this is the ultimate extreme. Shein, you know, Chinese company where you can buy a sweater or a pair of jeans for just $2. And people buy it en masse and then throw it away. But Antonio Guterres, Chief General Secretary of the United Nations, says it's code red for humanity now. Also, when you look at climate change. Here we're having nice weather right now. In Germany this morning was a big blizzard, a big ice storm. And I'm not talking too much about climate change now, but we need to take into consideration that we have to have a more balanced, holistic, and comprehensive approach. These are the 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, that are laid down, that are agreed upon to be accomplished by the year 2030. Already has been announced by United Nations that, for example, kill hunger is not attainable. And this is why we need to change, because generations do change. And my students, for example, I was once asked a very intelligent question. I like that. Professor, if you were me and you were young again and you were graduating from the university, would you work for a company like Shell again? And I said, probably no. Not because saying Shell is a bad company, but this is also why I left the company, not because it's a bad company, but because helping to develop the potential of future leaders was more intrinsically motivating me than to market oil or gas or whatever for Shell. Right? I'm not saying is the one thing is better than the other. I'm only saying that that being a teacher at the university is more intrinsically motivating me. And my students also in the IT don't want to work for Google. They want to work for companies who care. Google is fined every week and just in the European Commission for breaching all kinds of laws, data protection, every kind of stuff. So those generations, you see that, and now 2025, we have generation better, you know that, the 2025 born ones. They are likely to care more for purpose-driven brands. But purpose is just beyond making money. This is coming from my friend Simon Sinek. You know Simon probably. Simon was having one of the most successful TED Talks of all time. I think it's top 3. When he was elaborating on the golden circle. And he said, the majority of companies is just an organization, same, or politicians, just communicating from the outside in, saying what they have, the products or their programs, right, in politics. They know how they do it. That is the value proposition. That is their processes. But very few companies know why they do that, what they do. So we do say, and then they say, okay, right. Yeah. And few companies have that actually. They said, okay, we are here to increase profitability to sell our products, but profitability is only a result, right? It's totally inspirational. We have to move from the inside out. We have to start with a why. And that is why we built the Pivotal Infinity Marketing Canvas. We have no sound. We need sound as well. Now it's good. For this, we don't need sound, but later for the other video, we need sound. I was talking to Philip Kotler and say, Philip, you are not known for a specific tool. You are known for marketing in general, but we need a framework to pass on your legacy. I will take care of that. And after hundreds and thousands of hours of discussion, we came out with a Pivotal Infinity Marketing Canvas, which is, you can see it here, which is nicely blending companies or organizations with stakeholders on the right-hand side through the infinity symbol. Therefore, it's called infinity. So it is starting with the purpose of the organization, company, of this institution, right? What is the mission? What is the vision? Why are we here for, right? And you talked about that because you want to build, and this is the most honorable thing to do, to shape future leaders that are leading countries and organizations. And they should be the ones, and we try to do that as well, to be functioning as role models to create a better world, to balance the 3 Ps. Then we move to the customer segment. You can see it at the top here. And then this is the approach here I mentioned before. And that is what my friend, Harvard professor Clayton Christensen was calling jobs to be done. Unfortunately, he died. He would have won the Nobel Prize for sure for economics, but he died unfortunately in 2020. And he calls it jobs to be done. He wrote a very famous book, The Innovator's Dilemma, in 1996. And then we have basically the old P, the old operational process here. Innovation, we want to design innovative solutions to tackle that problems, to solve that problems that we identify. We have a value proposition that is just beyond sheer pricing. We communicate about that through public relations campaign, through brochures, through what we're doing today, right? And we need to ensure that our products or services reach our stakeholders. And what is beautiful? What is beautiful about the model is that it, I think I was making a mistake here. What is beautiful about the model is that all around the stakeholders and the company, you have the micro and the macro environment. So you have political, economic, social, technological factors that do influence the organizations. And on the right-hand side is what we want to accomplish. We want to not just sell a computer to somebody, right? We want to turn prosumers, our customers, whether voters, doesn't make any difference, like I said, into ambassadors. Therefore, we call it advocacy. And probably most importantly, we don't want to do that at one moment in time and then forget about that, right? I sold you a TV, ma'am, so I'm happy. So here we go. But we are looking at the customer lifetime value. We call it in the marketing management, strategic marketing, we call it customer journey. We're looking at all the customer touch points. And one professor was so NDIM was honoring me, honorary professor strategic marketing and management last year in August. And one professor came to me when we opened up the institute and said, this is reminding me of Vedanta. Vedanta. And in my newsletter, India Connect, I was elaborating on that. Here we go. I hope it works now. You have to turn on the sound a little bit. There's no sound to this one, but in 10 seconds. Now you have to increase the audio, otherwise people cannot hear it.
To achieve lasting success because they are not rooted in purpose, nor aligned with what truly matters in a world of disruption and change. It doesn't have to be this way. The Pivotal Infinity Marketing Canvas is the next generation framework, a future compass of management that unites purpose, innovation, and value, and transforms marketing and leadership into a force for meaningful and sustainable growth. More than a month, the Pivotal Infinity Marketing Canvas is a practical tool designed for leaders, students, and professionals to rethink strategy, empower innovation, and create impact that lasts. The Pivotal Infinity Marketing Canvas turns purpose into infinite market power and offers organizations a clear pathway from vision to real-world results. Every successful business starts with purpose, the reason why it exists.
It has to do.
Purpose is not declaration. It is the compass that guides every strategic decision. From purpose, we look to customer segments. The people or businesses we serve. Whether B2B or B2C, understanding your customer is the foundation.
It's applicable to every industry, to every organization, profit, non-profit, in India, in Pakistan, Philippines, Indonesia. Doesn't make any difference.
These are unmet frustrations and challenges that stand in their way. Successful companies start by understanding these jobs. Innovation means creating solutions that solve real problems. Not every idea is innovation. True innovation delivers what customers really need. By solving problems, companies create value, benefits that improve lives and generate positive outcomes. How do we communicate this value to the market? Through stories, channels, and messages that resonate. Transfer ensures access and delivery. Value must not only be created, it must reach the customer in the right place at the right time. operating conflict with micro and macro forces, AI, politics, tariffs, the economy, and sustainability. These forces shape how companies compete and grow. Trust creates advocacy. Customers become partners, ambassadors, and advocates, spreading the message and strengthening our brand. Finally, all of this leads to lifetime value. Long-term relationships, repeat business, and sustainable growth. The customer journey is continuous, an infinite flow of value creation. This is the pivotal infinity marketing campaign, the success formula to turn purpose into infinite market power and leave the competition behind. Start with purpose, win with pivot.
Yes. So this is the model, and this is the 10-step process. And like I said, you can apply it to finance, you can apply it to green energy, regardless of the brand, regardless of the category. You can even apply it to Prime Minister Modi, which will run for any actor or politician, or like I said, it's absolutely universal, and it's the only tool that is a comprehensive tool, having normative management. It's about purpose, right? The mission and the vision. You have strategy in there. You have segmentation, targeting, positioning, consumer typology, stakeholder management in there. You have the micro and the macro analysis, political, economic, social, technological, environmental, legal factors, and the 5 forces from Michael Porter. And you have the operational aspect in there. And this is what we did with the management of Patagonia. So we do it in workshops. So it's not a tool that was created in an ivory tower. It's a practical tool that we apply in workshops with organizations such as the United Nations Innovation Accelerator. We are doing it now for Innovation Accelerator people of the World Food Program. We are doing it for Mercedes. We're doing it for Beiersdorf, and we're doing it for Adidas. So these are some of the German companies and international companies we do it for. It is the only, and that's what I'm most proud of, it is the only book on the planet, the only book on this planet that is endorsed by the United Nations. There's no book on the planet endorsed by United Nations. This one is. Purpose is the start. Pivotal is the framework director, Innovation Accelerator at United Nations World Food Program, Bernard Kovac, stating that. Marshall Goldsmith, the #1 guru in leadership, guru of the gurus in leadership, says this is the future compass of management and leadership. And my friend David Aker is saying he's a guru in branding, is saying it will replace the 4 Ps and all other attempts to structure marketing and management. Pardon me? Oh, you can, of course. I'm ready in 2 minutes. Then you can ask a question. Yeah. Yeah, I read it and then I answer that. Okay, let me quickly finish that. This is what we're also doing with the book. It has the logo of the United Nations World Food Program on there. So every book that is being sold is donating 1 meal to 1 child in need. And here is a more modern concept of strategic management that has been replacing the VUCA. We call it now the Barney, that we are living in a Barney world, but basically it's a kind of a similar thing where we have brittle anxiousness, non-linear world, and incomprehensible, but purpose is providing an orientation to that by linking it to purpose. Everybody in the room, I'm always ending with a call to action, then I'm going to refer to that one, is already successful. Therefore, you're sitting here, future leaders, senior executives, future ones. That is not the question. The question is always for me and for myself, it was, do you choose to matter and create a better world? And I hope and I trust that you do that. Thank you very much. Namaskar. And then I have a question here. Asked what Kerala and India should do. Yeah. That is a very generic question. I think continue Con- right. And it's related to finance. I think
How
exactly.
you implement your stuff here?
You should use, yeah,
In simple language. We
In
are not
simple-
managing-
I'm also not a guru, but that is upon others to decide that. But I'm just providing this kind of a model, and I think India is on the right way, because the future is India. It's also Indonesia, Malaysia, China. You have very young generation,
Yeah,
and you should.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
yes,
like country within country. Kerala model is different from India model.
yes.
And here what we want to know, how we Kerala model and India model. What are
Yes.
the-
I think simple answer, you should start and align everything to purpose. To purpose and sense making. To yes, to be, and that's what came across to me. To appeal to appeal emotionally to the people, to inspire the people, come to you, listen to you, right? And what you're doing is exactly the right thing, because you're developing the potential, you're shaping, you're forming future leaders, not only of Kerala, but beyond Kerala. And that is, I think, what you should continue doing, and never stop. And very, very important, never stop, particularly here, Kerala. I learned that from Professor Iyer, that Kerala is the only country not having, only state not having literacy, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you should always focus on learning, but never stop doing that. Some countries and some organizations do stop. For example, our country stopped investing massively into the educational system, into teaching people, educating people, having seminars and talks like that, right? And that is a kind of a challenge. I think that is what you should not do. You should try to focus on building the potential of people.
I was actually wondering whether it is in your P, you said it's purpose or the problem. Purpose or problem? What should be the starting point?
You should start with a purpose, starting with a why, because that is
The why start from
That
the
is-
problem. There is something which is staring at you. Even, the purpose or it's a problem.
not necessarily. My purpose is to build a better world through education.
That-
Then I'm looking at different kind of stakeholders, and I create innovative solutions to tackle that problem, but still being aligned to my purpose. So for example,
Purpose is actually the progeny, the problem starts from there, the purpose comes, or it's the purpose.
the purpose is first, because different stakeholders have different kind of problems.
Okay, maybe that.
So that is,
Yeah.
that is why in the 10-step model,
Yeah.
you start with a purpose, and then you identify the customer stakeholder, right? Well, like I said, whether it's some kind of rural agriculture business or some.
But for me today, for example,
Hmm?
as a public finance institute, my problem is actually why the national level reform or a major reform in tax called introduction of GST did not give the return that we expected.
Yeah,
We thought that my problem is this, why it didn't give? So why?
right.
Why this is the purpose tax? So
No.
Let me explain. GST actually was formulated here.
Right.
Going specific.
Yeah.
Okay, by Thomas Isaac and Steve, he's one of the architects.
All right.
In CDC, and initially GST was taught here. When it came up, we are not getting anything. Central is not paying us.
No, that's a specific problem.
Yeah. That is a specific problem that you have with respect to a specific stakeholder group, not with respect to every stakeholder. And that is what I mean.
How your strategy works here for us means Kerala.
Or other, for example, you already said that Kerala is a state which is ahead of other states in terms of whole lot of indicators, not only literacy, human development, yeah.
Can I ask
And
you
now the
something?
question here is that while the country is aspiring to become a developed economy by 2047, what Kerala should do to reach that status in say another 5 years or maybe 10 years time?
Honestly,
How to live forward?
I cannot answer that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying
Because,
that what should be
because
the approach?
I'm not the right person.
No.
Professor Iyer can answer that
Right.
because I'm not into that kind of business. Would be this.
When we have problem, how pivotal help can help?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Pivotal is a framework
Yeah, that framework.
to
we
put
can
it
discuss.
all, to put it all together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Can we help that? Is there anything
But
from management
this,
perspective?
yes, but
That's what I'm-
this framework
Mhm.
needs to be done
Mhm.
for every stakeholder group. It's not done for one organization
Mm.
and then it stays like that forever.
Correct.
This is done, so this is what we done for Patagonia 3 times. This is only one example. This is only for the outdoor customers that are environmentally conscious.
Mm.
But you have to do this for the retailers of Patagonia, and you have to do this for the suppliers of Patagonia, and you have to do this for any other stakeholder of Patagonia, because it will change, such as in every kind of strategy, it changes with respect to the stakeholder you're turning towards. So that is, but this model is a holistic kind of thing that that looks at that like no other model.
Can I answer this question?
Yeah, of course, thank you very much.
Yeah.
No, it's very important.
Question is open to all.
No,
It's not
I-
to you.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
are
yeah.
asking our
Yeah, yeah,
thought.
you see, I'm working
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
domestic for
Help
at least 6 months, So I will tell you what's happening. What I told him is, I had I'd written a book called India Brandish, Superpowering Brand India. This book was done in 2003 with my late brother. I had a younger brother whom I lost. I am not coming to the story, but we did the book when Kalam Saab's books, India 2020 had come. And then there was a third book, which was a page 3 book. I call it India Unbound by Gurcharan Das. He was a corporate guy from the Procter & Gamble. So the only 2 books actually that addressed the issue of India's problems were definitely the great man, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And Kalam was literally a junior to Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti founded TIFAC. And I was trained by Krishnamurti, Dr. V. Krishnamurti. You know, how many of you know who is Dr. V. Krishnamurti? Founder of BHL, founder of your Maruti Suzuki, turnaround man of SAIL, a loss-making company making profit. And also last, he turned around GAIL by sitting outside. And the last work where I interacted with the Maxim was the National Manufacturing Competitive Council. 2004 to 2014, it was wound off. And the repository of India's Make in India was there. Unfortunately, it is closed. That's why we lost. Central government made a big blunder, I'm openly telling, of closing it down. Right? That was the repository. It's only information available with me now, not with the government. So it's this kind of thing I've seen. So I worked across power, energy, infrastructure, water. So I'm giving the answer to it. So I found Oprestic's model, the only model after several years, where many years back when I wrote India Brandished, I talked about brand asset value at that time. Can nations become brands? My book was about that, right? India Brandished is, you don't brandish a country, you brandish a sword. So I used that byline called brandished, and everybody asking, Times of India, Sahara took me into interview, all the Indians and many foreigners called me also for a talk. I said, now pen is mightier than sword. We have heard that, right? So that time my book was talking about branding India, right? A rare book. And next book is Bhutan Brandish, which I did in 2019. I've done a third country. I've only worked on these 2, and I'm repairing this book every now and then. It will be my 7th edition. So what I found in that is, there was this model called Pura. How many of you know what is Pura? So, Pura, see, if you don't know this, then you are not there. I'm sorry. I'm being very tight on this. Pura is providing urban amenities in rural area. Pura,
You
yeah.
are talking about Abdul Kalam's idea.
Yeah, no. Kalam, see, I'll tell you, sir, where it rise. It was Shivadhanu Pillai and Kalam who wrote this thesis at TIFAC called Providing Urban Amenities in Rural Areas. Now, what happened? It ended up in my talk will be a little, sometimes it will be abrasive for you. Yeah, it is actually making toilets and bathrooms. So what has happened to Swachh Bharat? So village is gone, development is gone, you're making toilets and bathrooms. Does it solve our problem? And then I don't want to talk about what happened there. So this is the purpose was lost. The purpose of Pura was to provide urban amenities to rural area. You get it? So me and my brother wrote a model, which is not being discussed by intellectuals because of their very big problem right now. Nobody wants to discuss anything. Intellectuals are not there. Some Johnnies come there and sit and do everything. Sorry, I'm in Delhi, but I have 29 states, right? So we have to wake them up. It is a federal economy. So what do? I'm not talking leftist, rightist and all. Please don't take me that way. I'm making a full bullet. Where is the federal financial autonomy? This is the book I'm working on. I'll share with Thomas Saab. And I've challenged the central government. If you don't have a federal financial autonomy, to discuss whether your state chief ministers are leaders of equivalent stature of the Prime Minister of India. So if each one is not a leader and he doesn't think of the economy of the state, the purpose is lost. So now you understand where from Oprasnik is coming. So what did I tell Oprasnik in a short? I can discuss this for long. Is that your model doesn't apply to only customers, consumers, and that stakeholder. I have told him, I was the first man to tell him in the world. And I told him it applies to every condition, to countries, to our type of economy, to the United States, which are states, to us, we have states, to the Australians, to everybody. Each has a different problem. And then this problem, what is India will call? You know, the world is called a developed economy. Then we have the other world called the, underdeveloped. And in between, we have the developing. This is what you have heard, right? All of you know this? Know the definitions? I don't want to get into that. This is all you learn, right? But there is another one. Do you know from the past? The first world, the second world, and the third world. And I don't know whether there will be a fourth world. So what is this? What type of, who has made this coinage of first world, third world? Are these some netherworlds after that? So this type of psychology exists in the world market. So what will India do in this? Indian diaspora, Indian intellectualism should have come forward and said, we don't accept this. So there was a word which I coined for India in the book. It's called the transitional economy. And it's crazy, what we are doing. This transitional economy is like a jump across the Niagara Fall. It's in some dream where, wait, you cannot stop me right now. So yeah. It's a dream where this jump never ends. Can it happen? A jump where you're just doing like a cycling and you're jumping across the Niagara Falls. Can this ever happen? It's like a dream, right? So how long will it take to transit into a developed economy? So what is the definition? Today, when I'm sitting with you, our GDP per capita is $2880 US. What is the GDP per capita of Bhutan? 4,000 US. Bhutan borrows from me, everything do, only $4 billion economy, 7.5 lakh people. My Dombivli, where I stay, has 15 lakhs plus people, right? But Bhutan, a small country, and Latur in Maharashtra has only 5 lakh people. It is a bigger economy than Bhutan, I can tell you. So your problem and solutions are different. So for Kerala, I'm a half Keralite. My mother comes from Thrissur, right? Now you know why I'm talking like this, right? My father comes from Tanjore, so I'm a borderline case. Yeah, for sure. Wife from Kerala, and I've crossed all barriers. She's a Christian, I'm a Hindu, and all that will come, right? And what my children follow? My children follow no religion. Sorry, that's the way it is. They can go to anything and they can work on anything. So that is emancipation. That level, India is going down. It's not coming to that level. Okay, so we all have a purpose here, right? Purpose to doctor this. Purpose to change this, purpose to bring it forward, purpose to go to the economy. Real discussion will not come. What is the discussion going on today in the market? You see what media is doing to you. So that's not a discussion. So how will Kerala come out of this? Because you're a unique state. You kept everything together. Like there's, left. Didi is left. And I'm addressing this, you must be thinking like that, right? I'll tell you all this does not matter. What matters is, can I draw a parallel line? And I, at least at an individual level, has drawn a parallel line. My parallel line is what is to be grown. Energy, infrastructure, right? These are the two areas. Now I come to the finance part, which is important for you. What is the way we are financing these? Right? Can I continue? Okay.
Continue.
Yeah.
But one more thing,
No.
what is our purpose?
That is what I'm coming to. No, problem is, first he wrote a good thing.
Good question.
No, he told a good thing. He said problem. So I'm identifying the problem. So wait for it. Don't be in a hurry. Don't drive your scooter. Okay. So the first thing is, the problem comes from the fact that which I'm going with KJ Joseph's, Dr. KJ Joseph's point, problem, right? The problem he has defined problem. I don't call it a problem. I would rather call it a challenge. Challenges here is a state which has to do justice to everybody. That's the way the state has looked at itself, right? You agree? How many of you?
Change P, that's why it was.
No, no, don't worry, sir. Now comes the next thing, that how do I do it? Then there were two big models, left, right, center. I'll tell you the models. There was a model, it said, you remember long ago, there was this Jayaprakash Narayan who wrote the model of Sarvodaya. And it was not his model, I'm sorry. It was Mahatma Gandhi's long ago when he went with Gokhale. That time this Sarvodaya came, the rise of all. So what did our, I don't want to name, but you know whom I'm talking about. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Sarvodaya is there, na? Sarvodaya is a simple word. So that was lost. The communication is lost. Now comes the next point, right? Sarvodaya is the rise. Then they brought this at leftist, this, that. But what is Antyodaya? The rise of the last man. And who wrote this last man? It is one of your Kerala authors, C.K. Pralat. How many of you read him? The bottom of the pyramid. He was the man who was defining, he's no more, I think, right? Yeah. So imagine these authors have gone. I was discussing with him, and even he was not very well aware about this. The man who actually brought understanding of transnational, multinational, international, and global firms and differentiated qualitatively about them was the great man Sumantra Ghoshal. And even his institute, the Indian School of Business, has become some dustbin stuff. I was sitting in the meeting, I blasted the whole Telangana Federation. I said, you bloody fellows don't know what's happened to him. So how will you even learn if you don't know your guru? So this is our problem, because you are not remembering who did all these things. You take a pickup, all is there. It's time dimension. Time dimension is like I'm taking Ricardo. So, sorry if I say something, you don't feel bad. Porter is crap. So I'm throwing Porter out. Michael Porter, four nation, 5 forces. What forces? So what opera stick is talking sense, pivotal. So it gets subsumed. He will save Porter. He's trying to save, although he did not even, like he said, I will not help your thesis. So literally he rejected him, right? And Kotler said, come, I embrace you, because then Kotler today survives because of the book of, I'm a little aggressive on this, so they know what I'm talking. So basically that's what it is. You have to embrace. You cannot be a guru without embracing others. You have to help. Sometimes there's no consideration. So these all come. So in your state, you have intellectual capital, you're good people, but what is the problem? I watch. I'm coming here to help. I'm watching people cannot work together. Then there is cross purposes. Then enters politics or other zones, right? So I think somewhere you have to rise about this. It may be a small group rises about this. And then now come the financing. In the public financing forte, what happens? Every development decision that are made based on everybody is making some kind of political orientation in that decision, whether we like it or not. Delhi is always making only political. They are not concerned about the 29 states. They only consider about humko agla election kaise jeetne ka hai, right? The state, what happens? They will also think, but there are certain upper zones. I tell you, I have been working with 2 states. One is very close, which is Andhra Pradesh. The other one is I'm trying to do something for Kerala. So how I found the difference. Now, Andhra people will say, oh, Chandrababu, he's with XYZ and all. Don't take that. Take my message. He's in a different zone. He's not bothered about anything. So what is he doing? He said, I'll build the quantum valley computing. Now, the problem with quantum valley is it's beyond the scope of AI, right? So he did the quantum valley issue. The moment he talked about quantum valley, he had the problem of energy. And I shouted out loud there, right? What do you do? Data centers and Alexis witness to that. We have been talking so much of energy is required. And there is some crazy things happening. There's a plant which is coming at 18.5 crores per megawatt. It's unviable. I don't want to name which company. It's a national company. It's not a private sector company, which has done this blunder. And I've questioned the CEO, who's the chairman himself, who's my alumnus. I said, if you bring 18.5 crore per megawatt for a thermal power plant in the name of advanced supercritical, you're going to give me 40 rupees tariff. I'm paying 16 rupees tariff in Dombivli. My colleagues in Hyderabad are paying 17 rupees tariff some places. So do we have, then I'm writing a letter now. Why? Attak to Kattak, Kashmir to Kanyakumari. I want one domestic tariff. So in Kai language, the language that is there, you have to use that in your sentences. So the challenge is whether Kerala will come forward with something like this, whether it will come with me with the federal financial autonomy. These are the questions I have also. So your solutions lie in the fact that you need to access large finances at low cost. Currently, we are bankrolling through private sector. Public sector has been kept back, and we are bankrolling. And I will tell you the name. My boy, I don't meet the Adanis, but my boy, whom I trained, is in Adani. He's Vineet Jain. Vineet Jain is the CEO of Adani Green Energy. You know about this company? Okay. What happened? Vineet was working on the ultra mega project in Mundra. I told him in Hindi, I told him, मेरे बेटे कोयले की दलाली में मुंह काला मत करो. You understand? Don't get your face blackened in the zone of coal. So he said, Sabji, kya karenge? He's a Jain. He's from Haryana, Hisar, the boy. So I said, you have to go to renewable energy. So what has happened? That little push from me today, whether they're good, bad, or ugly, that is different. Today they come to 14 gigawatt. And I honored both companies, Adani Green Energy and Greenco. But what is the difference between those two companies? It's an example I'm giving you to make you understand. Greenco's qualitative assets are all hydro, pump storage, and little bit of solar. So their assets are 75 years assets, right? So this, yeah, I can't do. This is 25 years. I know.
How much you are selling?
That you ask.
How much you are
This is very interesting.
selling Kerala?
The power, sir, what is your tariff?
KCB?
This is the lowest tariff in the country and probably in the world for a small hydro project. That's why I called it. This is it.
Now, any kind how much KCB is buying from outside market?
The problem lies there.
Well, at the moment, I don't know.
Now,
Now, I don't know the figure, but it should be somewhere around 4 rupees.
Sir, it is more than that.
Yes, 70% we are purchasing from outside. That is also very important.
70% making it in Kerala,
2 rupees, 2 rupees 7 paise for 2/3 of my production. I have 3 units. And third unit is at 2 rupees 94 paise. That is the
list.
power purchase agreement. Which after the disaster of 2018, where my plant was completely destroyed by landslide, Urulpottal. I spent, because none of my boys have died or injured. So I thought that I should rebuild this. I rebuilt it in just 10.5 months using new generators, new controls, new switchgear, new battery.
All this investment.
Everything new. And in the process, I did the total cost was about 2/3 of the original investment, for which I have not got even
Single.
1 rupee from the government
you know-
or KCB. KCB prevented
So problem.
a revision in the tariff. They said that you are passing on your burden to the public. If all of their plant also, it is public is bearing. And when the tariff was too low, very, very unscrupulous and very, I don't find words.
Yeah.
Even today, the disaster was 2018. I rebuilt it in 2019, and we are talking about in 2026. Or
how
present.
much loss you got?
Okay, pardon?
How much loss you made?
How much?
Loss.
70 crores lost in me.
That you talk about.
Eh? Namak, so totally about 17 to 20 crores.
20 crores. That,
Yes,
how
It
you
is not-
financed it?
I financed, I got,
What?
I got 7 crore 9.5 lakhs from the insurance company, State Bank of India, my insurer. I took 7 crore loan from SBI.
Yeah.
What percentage?
At percentage means
Interest rate.
interest rate.
At least 9%, 10%.
It was about 10%.
Minimum.
10%, 10%,
10%
right?
of the plant is viable.
That's right.
It's not.
This is what
But
is,
what's the alternative?
this
for
is
which-
what I was coming to.
For which also KC, normally I had a written agreement PPA, the KCB would have submitted to the KSCRC, the regulator, the regulator KCB submitted that we should not give any revision. For the new investment, then he asked me to bear.
And yeah, you must get.
Something very interesting.
May I tell you, sir, I'm losing. Let me
One
come
of
back.
the students, we have one of our students
Yeah.
actually working on this road area,
Yeah, yeah.
but she has found.
Someone take his case and look at study.
Okay, Alex, let's just a minute, you lose out what I'm trying to tell you. Wait. You lose out because this is what I'm coming to. This was just one example. Larger interest is 9.5% interest on the Adani Green Energy balance sheets. 9.5% interest, no company can survive. I don't know how it will survive in the future. He's 10%,
10%.
with 0.5%, that's all.
It is varying 10%.
This is the ESG report, 9.5%, and how it comes, I will explain to you. You are all finance people. I don't want it to be lost. Please don't stop right now. Yeah, it's important to understand what I'm talking. So we brought a new model called the Alternative Innovative Investment for Inclusion. So now what happened several years ago, I did external commercial borrowings, which landed to captive power in India at just 2.5% from IKB Bank. And it was very successful. It actually got 4,000 megawatt of captive power in India at most remote Excel belts and so many cement steel plants, and I've done it with my hand, established and successfully. The depreciation happened, everything happened, and all these fellows, Jindal, Ispat, everybody benefited. Ferroalloys in Odisha. So these were captive power plants. What we wanted to do is, he's also coming from that field in some way. What we did is 70% of the thing used to come as a buyer's credit at the time. So now in this era also, similar kind of thing can be done, but with a different innovation. That is, suppose you build, let's say you want to build a pump storage project in Kerala. It's difficult in many, but pump storage is a good idea to reduce your risks right now. So if you build, then you can build it at what interest rates? You can build it at an interest rate of 2.2% landed. World Bank and all these multilateral institutions, they have a problem. They come up with a country risk. Country risk for India is 4%, in spite of us being a $4 trillion economy and all this talk we are giving. So you load the country risk on top of this. They decide. The cartel decides. I'm coming to that, sir. You see, it is an international arena. If you ask me such questions, it's of right now of no use because this cartel is operating worldwide. If you don't get out of the cartel and operate on your own, you will not get the solution. So what we have done is simple. We don't want these agencies to only do it. Long-term financing is different. See, a hydro project takes sometimes 17 years. Subansiri in Assam took 17 years, it will coming on the grid, or 20 years, it will coming on the grid now. So you cannot have a project done at 20 years. Indira Sagar Dam in Madhya Pradesh was constructed in 5 years. Karchamang to 4 years. So you cannot have the dams and these big structures or any roads or any infrastructure projects going on without completion because IDC is a big risk. Interest during construction is a big risk for projects, even for power plants. So to come down, you need interest rates which are really viable. And I believe that from 12 to 25 years, you can give at 2.2%. And it is happening. We have, this is ECBs still when you go debt. But if you don't want to go debt, then we make them partners. Right now, what we are talking FDI. What is FDI? BlackRock has come with Reliance and it will come. Is it an FDI? They'll say it's an FDI. No, it's gobbling up companies. So we don't need anybody to gobble up my firms here and enterprises. I need people who come here as partners. If Mr. KJ Thomas has an expertise, let us say, to build energy for argument's sake and infrastructure, then we need partners who can bring finance for infrastructure. Now, if these two works, then what happens? We can have SPV-based development. That is, you don't have to put everything in one basket. You can deliver a special purpose vehicle, and then it can absorb the capital and mezzanine. This capital is available like a risk capital for even 100% right now. That means the partner can bring even 100% and have an exit clause where he can get out. Because IRR-based returns are there. These are straightforward. But now I'll tell you what is the problem lying. I'll give you one project in Maharashtra to make you understand. Have you heard of the Samruddhi Mahamarg? Okay. It's the longest state highway constructed, 730 kilometer, starting from my Mumbai at Kalyan, because earlier it was Igatpuri, but Kalyan, and it goes to Nagpur. It's a state-of-the-art highway. It's a 6-lane concrete infrastructure. The benchmark of this, my guru, one of the guru, is actually, he's now vertigo guy because he's cannot move, but he's Gadkari's advisor, chairman in the North Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. So I keep talking to them. So what's happened? The cost was actually supposed to be by 2024-25, 24 crores to 25 crores per kilometer. Now, how the financing people get, they get away. That's what it's come out to 76 crores today. So now, can anybody explain this? Government is not explaining me any difference. They want to avoid this discussion, everything. It cannot be. The balance 50 crores can't get. And no investor, once he reads this project, international fellows are intelligent, they see this, they see so much of padding, they will not give you money for development. Now you get my point, what I made here? So I hope this could have been recorded, what I'm saying. Are you recording this? No. You're recording. So, you take these nuggets, which I'm telling you. If we are not serious, and the second point is we are doing ESG, it's a big greenwashing going on. At least the corporates are greenwashing. Even the public sector is not doing proper ESG reports. Sorry. All Mickey Mouse business. We cannot have ESG reports in the way we are doing. Yeah, that I'll touch. So the most important point is we have to go to SDG audits. And I have the capability to do, I'm one of the world capable guy, and under the REPA, we have the capability to do a complete SDG audit. The big four are charging crores, we can do in lakhs. I can do a complete SDG audit for Kerala that could actually open gates for you to billions of dollars in funding directly. There's no need for any counter guarantee from the center, that is a sovereign guarantee. It goes away. So this is the innovation I'm talking about. It's early stages. It was, I tell you, Prime Minister's advisor, Tarun Kapoor, who pushed me into this. When it was the compressed, see, we made a white paper on compressed biogas. This was done in 2021 at the behest of current advisor to PM. He said, Iyer Saab, you helped us in solar with the 100 gigawatt report, RASM. 100 gigawatt 2020 was made by our body, REPA. So this I took up, I went into it, waste to energy, agro waste to CBG, compressed biogas. So this problem was that it was under the priority lending scheme of the Reserve Bank of India. It failed, and Tarun himself told me, these guys, in spite of our telling, in spite of RBI norms of 6%, they were asking for additional collateral from these small guys who are going to build these plants. Now, even today, they're asking additional collateral. Can anybody building 50, 60 crore plant go and give his house and other things? So now this entrepreneur will not come up. So it's very big struggle. So the big guys will come. Right? Finally, it is open only to the big daddies because they go to the banks. If they don't pay the loan, it's write-off. A lot of things are happening. What happens to the SME sector for India? So this is where the solution lies. If alternative investment, I went for this to understand how I can build something where I can keep a corpus and help these large plants to build. We have 640,000 villages in India. If each village just builds 2 megawatt, I'm talking electricity, energy, whatever you look at it. It is 1280 gigawatt, which is bigger than the current 500 gigawatt that you have. And it will come in 3 years. So where is our difference between China and us if we do this? Policymakers are not working on this. So that is where Kerala has to work on. That's where Andhra has to work on. I gave these answers that you in a short while, but I have a lot of ideas like this. Yeah, tell me. Right.
Take a loan.
Yeah, I know. Right.
My CIBIL score is -1.
That is right. This is fraud. CIBIL is a fraud. I'm so openly telling you. It's a federal fraud because it is actually forcing Indians to be not able to access finance. This they did to my wife also. You know what I... No, my own wife went into it. So I said, no more loans for us. You take loans. How she corrected also, I'll tell you. This is a completely stupid system. Yeah. He can't help it. He's gone. Yes, sir. Yes.
This is what you have to work on.
Yes.
This institute created GST.
Right.
From those and all I used to remember.
Right.
ILO. Huh?
Right.
I'm talking 20 years back. None of you guys were here.
Yeah.
But those forgot saving. Thomas, I said, then I forgot other people.
Right.
Gulati was my name.
Yeah.
So often created this. Now, CIBIL score, what is the alternate for us?
Correct.
Why don't you work on an
Alternative to CIBIL in India.
Decided.
Okay. You want the answer? Let me give the answer in this one. No, I want to give the answer. See, every customer who goes has a relation with the bank. All of you agree here? Whether it's a private bank or a public bank, you all go. A simple thing is only your bank can do your score, nobody else. A very simple, I have no complex solutions here. Your bank is the master. So if we create a master portal repository of your dealings with the bank, and that itself becomes your, benchmarking for your ranking, why do we need a CIBIL? Throw it, first close it down. This is the biggest fraud on the country because many Indians are going out of accessing financing in the in a simple way. I tell you, I've gone microfinancing, but what is the microfinance doing? Believe me, 18% they're paying in the microfinance, many places. Microfinance cannot charge more than 6% under, just like the priority sector lending, which is going to the farmers. Do the farmers access loan? I've sold pumps in remote areas in India. Agricultural pump sets. First, my first job was this when I came to Jyoti. So, sir, you know it very well now. I come to your story. So I went. Yeah. He's my guru. Mr. P.D. Nayak.
Please introduce yourself. We'd like to.
Yeah, sir. So basically, I went to the farmers. I sat in Indore market, in Shastri market. I wanted to know why they buy the pump and how they buy the pump. So my company wanted to know this. So pumps were purchased using NABARD slip. They had this NABARD slip. They will come there and they'll pick up the capacity. And it's on nameplate rating, nothing else. And they will pick up at low interest rates because of NABARD, right? But that is 6% now, right? So can we give to the person on the street selling vegetables at 6%? Now we have to start thinking. I gave you the solutions. Somebody wants to just make a tea stall on the road. There are many people, Kerala also, or ladies are coming and they're selling their daily, we can find them all around here, all around Maharashtra. We have something called Garguti in Maharashtra. That means we get home food. At my suburb, I'm getting home food. Husband, wife, they don't have time. They come in the morning, go in and they just can't cook. So they go to the Garguti, pick up in just about $150 they can actually give the whole family the food. Now, who is going to fund those? Women, and it's all women workforce that does it. So can we fund this at 6%? So these are the self-help. So if India transforms in this way, I can tell you we'll make billions, not by helping only corporate environment, because they will make big projects. That is their job. They will do. But we have to find out whether they don't superload it like the Samruddhi Mahamarg. Who has made that money? Where is that 300% rise come from? Between 2014 and until now, I wrote to the government that all commodities, all you have increased by how much? Between 250% to 300%. Is it not inflation? And then GST, which was a grossly skewed tax. It was supposed to be one nation, one tax. It went to one nation, four tax. And then several interpretations. Unbelievable. So where it is gone, it is not your GST, sir. It was not the GST introduced by your institution. It is some grossly skewed tax happening somewhere else. And then what do? They collect everything. Don't pay the states contributing the highest are receiving some of the lowest. How is it possible? Even for that matter, Maharashtra also receiving less. So it's a BJP state, if you look at it that way, I'm saying. Right? It's a central government. Why they are also receiving less? Why they are not being paid? We think that, okay, double engine sarkar and all that, right? So this is also happening. So don't think that it's one way. I think Kerala has a very wonderful thing. Kerala has financial stress. We know that, duress. I can understand that. But Kerala has the potential to attract finance. These are two dimensionally opposite area because the potential is stressed because of certain situation between the center and state federal relation. Tamil Nadu can also face that, but Tamil Nadu is also trying to build. Yeah, I'm okay, sir, now. I think you want any question, you can come back to me.
Could you please introduce and many of us?
He's a live example for all of you.
Yeah, my name is P. Damodaran Nair. I was in the north for about 43 years, so I am called P.D. Nair. That is the various style. I passed my diploma in electrical engineering in first rank from Vattiurkavu first batch in Trivandrum, and moved to, as per the advice of my professor Ishwara, moved to heavy electricals. At that time, Heavy Electricals India Limited, now BHEL, well-known BHEL, Bhopal. So in Bhopal, in 1965, I passed my AMA Electrical. And in 1966, I passed my AMA Mechanical. And in 67, yes, these two. Then in 1980, I worked there for 7 years. I then moved to Jyoti Limited, Baroda in 1969.
correct.
And in Jyoti Limited, Baroda, Mr. Iyer was my colleague, and about 40 years back. So in Jyoti Limited, Baroda, I did some design work. First 10 years, I was in the rotating machine design. I designed that is a moderator pump motor for Madras Atomic Power Project, primary heat transfer pump for Madras Atomic Power Project, and also circulating water pumps from Rajasthan Atomic Power Project. During those years, I was specifically, because these motors, particularly moderator and primary heat transfer, are 3000 RPM induction motor, and generating, and it has to drive, the reactor scramming is not immediate. Once you scram the reactor, the heat dissipate, the generation is an exponential. So the primary heat transfer pump should still work out of its own inertia and give discharge of 70% discharge after 7 seconds and 7% discharge after 50 seconds after shut off. Otherwise, the heat generated will be sufficient to melt the reactor many, many times. These are some of the critical areas where through. Yeah, it will be very short. That my wife is my chairperson, my company. So it is not a request, it is a order. So there, last 40, 50 years, I am in the field of
Hydropower.
last 45 to 50 years, I am in the field of renewable energy, and I have the privilege of presiding over the renewable energy sector of Jyoti Limited, where Nanibai, I mean, some of you may know, he was a wizard and in the field of renewable energy. And thereafter, I concentrated on small hydro. That is my subject.
So how far is the site from here?
Your site.
How far from here, sir?
This my project here is 250 kilometers from here. It is in Munnar. Munnar, 22 kilometers before Munnar. That is from Adimali, 8 kilometers. And its name is Irtukanam.
Correct.
It is in the Anavirati village. It is in the Vellathuval. Yeah. That is company's name is VI Power. VI Power Private Limited.
It's a private.
Yes, it is a private. It is the first private sector small hydropower in Kerala.
Correct.
That is.
Can you give me very briefly, what do you see for Kerala's energy sector in future? What one could be good? What's your perspective?
Energy sector as a whole, there is no alternative than Kerala to go for nuclear.
Yes.
There is no alternative. In fact, in 2002, when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was our prime minister, he offered a nuclear power station to Kerala. But there are a lot of objection from the state and from the people. And he said that if you have objection, then I am not giving. So he gave to Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
He gave it to Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu put it at your foot.
Exactly.
He gave one to Karnataka, they put it at your head.
Right.
So if any explosion takes place in your foot, it can reach up to Thrissur or Shornur. And if an explosion takes place at the head, it can reach back perhaps up to Trivandrum. So you are not totally, and at that time, Chernobyl was leaking.
Correct.
Oh, that's what Bob asked.
At that time, Chernobyl was leaking.
1990.
So everybody got frightened, and including the government. Government said, sorry, we don't want. You will have to go for nuclear. There is no other source of your becoming.
Thank you, sir, for joining.
Thank you.
No, just one point
Because
there.
hydro,
Nuclear, see, because nuclear, sir, we are talking about small modular thorium reactors. And it will come, small modular thorium reactors. The word is thorium.
exactly, I am repeating because thorium, world's 80% of the deposit of thorium is in Kerala.
Kerala.
So you will have to go for a fast breeder reactor. And in fact, the one, there is an experimental fast breeder reactor with MAPP, Madras,
Yes, yes.
where everything was even, I don't know.
500
You should
megawatts.
correct it where
Kalpakam.
thorium was tried out.
Kalpakam is successful.
Kalpaka. It is there. So there is no other way because we have no coal, we have no oil, and hydro is more or less all hydro possible locations are already developed. And one silent valley is remaining because of the lion tail monkeys that will not be developed by will not be developed by the government. And so there is no other alternative. As far as small hydro is concerned, we have potential. Kerala has potential for about 700 megawatts, not very small. Out of it, what we have developed, about 100 or 120 megawatts. And the policy, all our policies at the macro level is very good. But at the micro level is far from satisfactory.
Right.
For example, my case, because of the natural disaster, Urul-Pottal, my power plant was finished, all equipment finished. And this power plant, within a year, I had to remove 5,500 cubic meter of mud, this debris and boulder. It took 4.5 months. After the 10.5 months, 4.5 months is to remove this. And generators, my friends were the TDPS, they supplied me after seeing my plight. They stopped their production, run my production and supplied me 1.5 megawatt generators in 3 months. I placed the order in 2018, December 26, and I went to 2019, March 27 for testing. That is the help which they had because one of my well-known friend was at the top.
Right.
And they helped me. Similarly, all Flowell, everybody helped me, and within 10.5 months, I recommissioned, sir, my power plant. So instead of giving a pat at the back, I got a boot at my stomach. This is what exactly happened.
Yeah,
And
this is
all these money, 17 crore, and KCB say I should bear. Why? I should have walked away from the site with the 12 crore insurance put in my pocket and walked away, abandoning the site. Because the implementation agreement provides for that. But I did not do that because none of my boys have, everybody is hale and healthy. So I thought that I will rebuild. Fast rebuilding, I needed some encouragement. Instead of that, my case is in Supreme Court.
yes.
Instead of giving a tariff increase, the KCB objected to it. Instead of telling that for new investment, forget about new investment. You say for what he has drawn a loan taken from the State Bank of India, 7 crore, at least a tariff increase for that 7.5 crore you allow.
That itself would have helped you. Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise the whole national, this loss, I have to bear myself alone. So it is, and so new project,
What is the capacity of the new plant now?
4.5 megawatts, sir. I run it at 5.
It's a beautiful plant, sir. You must visit.
I run it at 5.
I have yet to visit.
Very
He
well.
keeps telling.
And 30 years is the boot period you grant for a new project. It is by the government. And mine, this renovated project is new. And I spent 2/3 of the original cost. So I am entitled for 2/3 of the 30 years. That is 20 years boot period extension. Good period extension does not cost the government or KICB any money. There is no cash loss. Still, I am yet to get. Nobody is telling me that I will give you. They only gave me when the plant was not there. I was rebuilding the plant for 30 years, 333 days I spent, 10.5 months I spent. At that time, my plant was not there. So government gave me by an order an extension of 333 days with some certain condition, which is not yet implemented till today. Government, but for new investment, government has to give 20 years. I asked for only 15 years. So you have to view the things with the magnanimity. I am not asking from the air. I suffered, and that is a national calamity.
Absolutely.
So you want me to put all money to be borrowed and put it here for the people of the country, and you give me nothing, not even a single tea. So that is my problem. Which
So
I'm okay.
I think it's a now, it's actually going in many different directions. I would like to say, for example, on the basis of the discussion, would you like to conclude? So for example, these are your problematic is not so much public arena, it's more like business management.
Yeah.
But then insights which they have been trying to draw, what lessons, what
I
is the
think-
takeaway from?
I think
For your framework, that
what
is-
we learned from the discussion, because I'm not an Indian citizen in particular, not living in the state, but we learned from the discussion the purpose, the mission, and the vision of Kerala, of this institution, is always the same, irrespective of the stakeholder. But we heard of different stakeholders, right? Your husband, right? So he's industry. Right? So he has different kind of problem and issues or challenges, right? That needs to be addressed in a different, innovative way than Alex or than the World Bank. For example, the model creates awareness for the fact to treat stakeholders separately in a stakeholder matrix and then look at their problems. Very, very important. The purpose can never be to solve this problem of this stakeholder. This is not correct. But we are looking at different stakeholder groups, and then we run through the process. We address those challenges separately because we need to communicate also to World Bank or to foreign direct investors potentially differently than if we're talking to industry, right? Yes. And that is, I think that is a very, very important thing. Also, that is often done wrong in management in general because they think they have one value proposition, right, for everybody. But I learned that from Guy Kawasaki. Guy Kawasaki was the chief evangelist to Apple. He was working for Steve Jobs, and he very simple. You asked me for simple language, and I love what he said. He said only two things are important, right? Who's it for, what you have, and what's it for? If it's for everybody, so if you have a solution for everybody, it is for nobody. It is for nobody, it's good for nothing. So that is often done wrong in management. But I think there's one solution that fits all. But this is in today's complex world, this is not the case. And I think what is absolutely paramount, in my humble perspective, we need to have a more encompassing view. We need to start with a purpose. We need to start with a why that is beyond profitability, but then turn to each stakeholder group separately and run through the process. That would be my understanding.
Alex, would like to add on to anything? So, any questions from the floor? General. They are all worried about that deficit, borrowing, fiscal deficit, revenue deficits.
We ask questions, no?
You must, youngsters, whatever you feel like, even if it's the wrong question, it doesn't matter. There's nothing right or wrong in questions.
In fact, no, not even.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you want this.
See, we had a very major award, the 18th one, which which we did in Vijayawada a couple of days back. Many people, many good people received awards in the power sector, energy, renewables. And I talk about something called hybrid integrated renewable energy. You cannot look at like this versus that. It's like an equation, right? Energy is not going to happen in a single way. So every state will have to find a solution. So we had some lifetime achievements. One was morning we gave to Shri K.R. Jyotilal. He received the lifetime achievement this year. And also the lifetime achievement for Shri P.D. Nair. And I want K.J. Joseph Sahab and Oprastic to please, both of, he was my chief guest anyway. Yeah, both of you.
I think
I will also
for
thank.
all your contribution, but
Yeah,
I
so
think
this
it
is-
will be
Sure, sir.
appreciating your contribution to the power sector.
Let's
and
take that.
Otherwise, yeah, what contribute to that. Yes. All of us. Can you do one in one way? I need it for one. Need it most.
The clapping has to have energy.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate your initiative.
You came here.
You would like more PDs.
Yes. Carry them back.
Down is maybe had one. So I think we have much of, it is very nice entertaining afternoon, very nice to have new people. So you are most welcome to this family. Thank you very much for coming. And most welcome. We would like to have you
Very happy to receive this award here because Professor I.S. Gulati is a well-known person for me and I have opportunities to, he was speaking in MS University.
Oh, you are
Very dear friends.
So I knew him from during those days. And when he came here as the chief of flying board, I had occasions to do a lot of things with him. And so this institute is very precious in my mind. And
Thank you,
I
sir.
have got it.
Thank you very much.
And I'm very thankful to Professor Gopal Krishna. He was my colleague 40 years ago in Duty Limited. And
We learned a lot from you,
this
sir.
award. And in fact, he asked me to come to Vijayawada to receive this award, but for my injury, I don't want to. But now I got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Very much. We are really proud of your achievement.
Thank you. We need your blessings.
Very proud of Professor Gopal achievement because he has.
He's very passionate. He's very
Yeah.
passionate
Yeah.
on issues.
He
That
has
is very
got,
important. That is
he
very
has got
important.
to such a level that I have to go.
Oh,
Like
my
this.
goodness.
Really proud. Really. proud.
Thank you. I'm blessed.
Because
That's all I can
so many
say.
Publications, and, some of them he has gifted me and really you have a tremendous, you are.
It's time. They are really wonderful. How to manage
How
all
it's
this.
trying to write on it. Thanks, sir.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir.
So, thank you for connecting to Professor Opusnik, and I have some wonderful Japanese friends in DDI, Developmental Institute, and some of them are working in the area of energy, green card, it's called low carbon innovation, this kind of area. So, nice. So there is a formal order of thanks, and thank you, my personal thanks to
Alex.
Mr. Alex. for that. Okay. Formal.
So as a coordinator, I'm proposing the formal vote of thanks, respected director, distinguished speakers, Alexa, Vidi Damodaran Nair sir, and Shyamala ma'am, okay, everyone who has assembled here. I think there is no online participants, even though. So from each one of us, a very big thanks for your both of your papers, as well as the life sharing experience of P.D. Damodaran sir. It was such an enriching thing to hear from you. Such a long way from where you started it. So, oh, I see.
He's like that McDonald's. Oh, sorry. Oh.
Oh,
Because the electricity minister and myself, we are four faculties in IIT Roorkee.
My
So
God.
I said that when the program comes, they invited. Okay. And he said, yes, do that 3.5 megawatt people. I said, no, I'm not already not 140.
oh. Okay, very, very precious, very enriching experience here for you, sir.
We appreciate.
Yeah.
Please go and see it. It's a wonder
Mm.
what he has done.
We'll go.
Okay.
8 kilometers from Alimani towards Mona. Mona is very 22 kilometers from my.
Okay, thank you.
And this project, when we make it, it is as good as a project anywhere in Europe.
That's great.
I have, where from the landslide occurred, from that side was, on that side was my controls and everything. So in the new, this thing, I have shifted that to the
Other
other side, non-hillside, and took the whole switchgear and controls to the first floor and made the rooms of steel.
Oh,
So my boys are very, very, you know, otherwise my boys will feel that, oh, it may again come. Because Urul Pottal is a disaster which you. Three people were there in the powerhouse when it struck. They miraculously escaped.
So thank you one and all for each one of you for all your enriching experiences. And Professor, personally, you started with the marketing, that pivotal strategy. AJ sir, you enriched with your experience in India and Kerala, and again by the life sharing experience. It was a total of everything. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, Alex sir, for his amazing questions and all. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
today